Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is a little bit of a different feel for the Canadian Immigration Live Q&A. Today, we're focused on express entry. I'm here in Edmonton, Alberta, actually, taking my daughter up to do a little bit of setup for the start of her school. My youngest daughter, it's hard to believe that she's actually starting college here, and that's it. We are officially empty nesters, although not really because the kids are still around. Anyways, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm just using my earbuds here and operating from the hotel, and hopefully that we'll be able to make some good progress here as lots of people are jumping in with the questions. Make sure, as always, that you let me know where you're tuning in from. Amara, thanks for connecting in. We've got Amara here, and then what I'll do is I'll just get rid of my little here. Let's see who we've got tuning in. I'd love to hear where you guys are tuning in from. I think you guys should be able to hear me okay. Hopefully the audio isn't too loud and we're not picking up too much background noise, but it is absolutely great. Okay, let's see who we've got here. Manpreet's connected in. Great to see you. Lots of love from Malaysia. Thank you so much, Manpreet. It's great to connect with you. And Raj Kumar, hello. Good to have you here. I can see the questions starting to come in. We'll definitely get to all of the questions. I wasn't planning on doing a live stream today just because like I said, I'm traveling away, but I had a little bit of time this morning, and so this one will be a little bit shorter than normal. We're going to dive into a lot of questions, and it's obviously we love to focus on express entry today. And then tomorrow, I think Igor is going to be doing a special presentation for Ukraine nationals in the regular noon slot that Alicia has. Alicia's away camping with her family one last time in the mountains. And yes, so please, those of you who are tuning in, please let me know where you're tuning in from. And let's give some more shout outs before we jump into the questions. Let's see here. Nandajit, hello, good to see you. We have Daniela, greetings all the way from the Congo. Fantastic, great to have you here, Daniela. That's so cool. We've got Kumaravel is from India. Oh, I do have some exciting things to relay too. Once we get to a few more shout outs here. Anatoly, hey, good to see you back again, Anatoly. Tuning in from England. Thank you so much. Wishing you the best. Stay ahead. And okay, and so basically go ahead and post your questions and we'll definitely get to those. I want to let you know, you guys are going to be the first ones to hear. I am planning an event, potentially a series of events. We're just working out the details this fall. We are looking to actually go overseas. So I'm going to do one in Brisbane in Australia, which I know is going to be probably the end. It's probably going to be between Christmas and New Year's. We're going to do an event in Brisbane the end of December, probably the last week in December, and I'm going to do an in-person kind of a presentation on Canada and the options that are available to people, and then wrap it up with a Q&A live just like this. And then the next day I'm going to open it up for in-person consultations as well, so that you can meet with me in person, and that will be in Brisbane end of December. And then we're looking at going to South America actually before, but the details, we're just trying to sort it out. So we're considering going to Chile and then over to Brazil, and then maybe coming up and hitting Suriname, which is a country that people usually don't go to. But there's a reason that we're kind of hitting that. My son, Connor, is going to be home on the 22nd of September. He'll be back from Chile, and I am so excited. He's been in Chile serving a mission for a church for the past 2 years. And he'll be coming home September the 22nd. And then probably, I'm thinking maybe November. We're going to go, probably November is probably when it would be. We're going to do a little tour, a 2-week tour. And we're going to go down to Chile, do a presentation probably in Santiago, somewhere there. And then from there, we're going to go over to Brazil, which I speak Portuguese, and I've always wanted to go to Brazil. So I haven't quite decided the destination where we're going to go for Brazil. Maybe Rio, maybe Sao Paulo. We'll just see. If any of you live in those countries, I'm open to, for suggestions on the best places to host these live events. And then Suriname is where my other son served his mission. He speaks Dutch, so it's a Dutch-speaking country in South America. So I think we're going to try to hit maybe those 3 countries and just test this out, and just see how it plays out. So if you're going to be in those areas, make sure you stay tuned. And I'm open for recommendations on the best locations and cities to do these presentations. So very cool, very cool. I'm actually really excited about it. All right. Okay, let's see what else. We've got a bunch of people that are connecting in, and let's give some more shout outs here. Let's see who is next. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, we've got Kalian, who is greetings from Jamaica. Great to see you here. And Tanya says, hey, Mark, joining from Austin, Texas on an H-1B and got the Canada. Oh, yeah, the Canada H-1B open work permit. Thanks to all your videos and advice. You are very welcome. I actually met with another person. I can't tell you how many H-1Bs I've met now following this open work permit process, where they book consults just to talk about the possibilities and what the open work permit really means for them. Legitimate pathways to permanent residency, and I do a lot of strategic planning, in with how basically strategic planning to help them map out, making the right decisions early on in the process so that they have lots of opportunities for permanent residence at the end. So do lots of that. But congratulations, Tanya. I'm so happy for you. That's just wonderful. All right, let's see here. Who else do we have here? We'll do a couple more. I got to put my glasses on because I'm off my laptop here, which is a little bit smaller. Yes, Peter says, David, it's so good to connect. He said, always hear Mark, warm regards. You too, my friend. And let's see here. Any other shout outs, or people are just posting questions, looks like. Oh, we've got someone on Facebook. Good to connect with you, Ambi. And okay, all right. Okay, let's start from the beginning and let's go through and let's answer some questions. I think at this stage, let's see if we can slide over here. Yeah, that works. You can see the rounds of invitations. We're just waiting to see what's going to happen. There could be another one today. It's been 2 weeks, right? So the last draw was August the 15th. So it's been 15 days since the last round of invitations. So we'll just have to see. Will this be the one? Will it be the one where, if we look at the previous rounds of invitations, that they do another STEM draw? We're definitely overdue for STEM, aren't we, guys? They've only done the one STEM occupation draw, just 500 spots. They've really done the French language. They've pushed that one. There's been a ton of those. And it was great to see, at the beginning of August, the trade occupations getting a shout out. So we'll see. Excuse me. Looks like I've got a ticker here that is serving no purpose there at the bottom. That's actually quite funny. All right, let's zip back up here and let's dive into your questions. And we'll go here probably till about 10:45, and then I have to help my wife. We've got to get a few things set up for my daughter's place where she's staying. Okay, Amara says, hi, Mark. If an ITA based on CEC is obtained through the French mobility closed permit with a specific employer and now an acknowledgement of receipt stage, can one apply for bridge and open work permit and work for a different employer? Amara, this is something I would absolutely direct you back to our site, our firm, to book a paid consultation. When it comes to any of these shifting of work permits, there's a whole lot that I need to understand before I can say yes or no to a question like that. And so I think many of you are very aware. If you do have specific questions, all you have to do is just go to our website, click on Speak to a Lawyer, and you can then book a consult with myself, Alicia, or Igor. So we're all here and available to help and answer any questions specifically. But Amara, this is definitely something we want to address in the context of a consultation. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of background here. So the ITA, you said, based on CEC, is obtained through the French mobility closed permit with a specific employer. So this is, I'm not sure if it's just your work experience was on this, a closed permit. When you receive your acknowledgement of receipt and your permit, you do have the ability to transition to a bridging open work permit. So it is possible to do that, Amara. But before I could ever confirm, yes, go and do that, I would need to know a whole lot more about your situation. The Bridging Open Work Permit itself is specifically designed to help people bridge the gap. And we'll just put in here, I'll pull up the actual program delivery instructions and we'll just take a look at it together. These are constantly being updated. Let's see here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, and I'm going to share it with you because I always want you guys to know that certain things, specific advice I can never give over a live stream. But the reality is with this specific programs, I'll do whatever I can to try to educate you. So this is where you can search, okay? And so you can see the requirements to qualify for this general eligibility are actually pretty straightforward. Currently be in Canada after being authorized to enter. Of course you are. You've been working in Canada on that permit. Meet one of the following criteria at the time of submission. So have a valid temporary resident status and authorization to work, which you do have. We don't need to worry about the other things here. And then have submitted an application for permanent residence, the principal applicant, under one of the following classes. And you can see CEC is here. And then have completed one of the following stages, depending upon your class. So electronic application for permanent residence submitted and has passed R10 completeness for CEC. And that's basically, it doesn't get more complicated than that, but ultimately, is it possible? Yes. Oh, my computer's gonna die here. I've got to take a second here, you guys, and plug in my computer. I'm gonna be in trouble. Give me a second. I've been going all morning here, and I forgot to plug my laptop in, so hopefully it's not going to die on us here. That would be bad. I'm going to need to adjust quite a bit here. Okay. Nothing like scrambling, is there? That's okay. We can get this worked out. Yes, we can. But we're back. We're back. All right, that'll work. It's the one advantage to having your phone as a camera now, isn't it? Okay, we're back. Okay, I got to make room for my mouse here. Okay, we are plugged in and still working. Okay, so there's the overview. Amara, hopefully that was helpful. Okay, let's jump to the next one. All right, next is Peter. It says, hey Mark, for an express entry application, do you prefer to upload a digital photo in JPEG or scan of both sides of the actual photo in PDF? If digital, do you also include a scanned copy of the backside? So for express entry, no, I just upload just a copy of the digital, the front facing. I don't worry about the back at all in the context of express entry. Okay, Kushi says open work permit processing time for after biometrics. Kushi, are you inside Canada? Are you outside Canada? General work permit, after biometrics, it depends. It's all over the map. I can't even give you a processing time. You can look generally at how long it would take from the date of submission. And I think when you look at, let's see if I have processing times, I can pull up quick for you guys. Let's see here. Anytime you have any questions about processing times, you can look those up on the government site. So just type in your processing times, but after biometrics, I never pay too much attention because the only thing I look at are the actual posted processing times. So if I go work permit outside Canada, you actually need to choose your country. Everything's all different. So if I say Bahamas, processing times, 5 weeks. And so that's from start to finish. So I don't worry or stress too much about processing times from certain midway points within the application process. All right, let's make sure I'm locked in here at the right image here. Okay, next on our list Yari says, bonjour, Mark. Do birth certificates have an expiration date? No, not that I'm aware of. If it's issued properly, a civil status document in your country, the proper one, there isn't an expiry date that I'm aware of. Kalian says, hey, what's the best, cheapest province to study? Never make your decisions based on cheapest, Kalian. I couldn't even begin to answer that. Never make your decision based on cheapest. Okay, looks like we got a super that popped in here. This is from Sanchit. He says, I've got 2 years work experience under the postgrad while working in Canada. Was enrolled in a fully online 3-year course with an Indian college. Would that affect CEC work experience? Do I declare in personal history? If so, how? Essentially, you really need to book a consult. This type of a situation, you say that you got a 2 years of work experience under a postgrad while working in Canada. You were also enrolled in a fully online 3-year course with an Indian college. Now, are you talking about outside of Canada? Now, when you say Indian college, like there's some colleges that are run by Indian nationals, and do you mean that is a college that's inside Canada or one that's outside of Canada? If it's outside of Canada, then it doesn't impact your Canadian experience class. It's you would still be able to claim those points. But yeah, as far as the school, I would include it in the personal history, as just a duplicate. But it's not going to, it's not going to hinder anything. Canada doesn't pay too much attention to what you're doing outside of Canada, even if you are in Canada, as long as it's fully disclosed. All right, let's see. Looks like we've got another one from, let's see. Okay, Janolis, do you have a question? We'll just see if Janolis sends a question in here. Okay, let's go back to the general questions. IFTech, hey, how's it going? Can you update your profile after you receive your notification of interest from the OINP? Yes, you can. As long as it isn't affecting the basis for your notification of interest, right? So if your notification of interest came because of your work experience in a certain occupation, but you didn't really have that work experience, and you received that NOI because of it, well, then that could be a problem. Did you get married in the interim and now you want to add your spouse? Yeah, absolutely. You can update your profile. It's only once you receive your actual invitation to apply that you then run into a position where you are unable to change anything because your profile is locked. All right. Piplub says, Mark, unrelated topic, but thanks for all the tips and posts. Okay. I got the Canada Open Work Permit for H-1Bs approved today. Congratulations. Oh, let me see if I've got something here. Let's see. Oh. We got a little bit of an applause there for you. I had expired visa on the passport, but they approved it based on I-797 approval. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't see any issues. The key is when your passport expires. That's the key. Excuse me. Okay, let's see here. Batoda says, hey, Mark, are you expecting another draw from the French category? Wow. Of all of the categories, I would expect that the French has been oversubscribed. So I'd be surprised if they did another French draw. I think we're overdue for STEM, aren't we, you guys? So I think at this stage, probably unlikely they're going to do another French anytime soon. But hey, who could ever predict what IRCC is doing? And the reality is now we're under new management. So Minister Miller here, who's taken it on the chin a little bit lately, he's got a lot of issues he's having to deal with because Minister Fraser here left him in a little bit of a pickle. so we'll see what ultimately what he decides to do and where his priorities are. Where's he from though? He is from Montreal. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, Sabir says, I applied for an H-1B open work permit. I renewed the passport after biometrics. Where and how do I update and share the new passport? You will usually do that through a web form. And the web form, let's just put it up here. I'll just slide over to here. Let's open up a new screen and we'll call this one IRCC web form. Okay. So the web form here is typically where you will submit and update your information. So you're going to choose which program you're under. So as you go through here, temporary residence applied online, it's usually the one that you're going to go through. And then once you're here, it says type of application, temporary residence visa, work permit, applied online. And then you're going to go through and fill in and say, please note, I've got a new passport. I'd like it to be updated, uploaded to my system. Shrink this down a little bit so you guys can see this a little bit better there. You fill in all the information. When you completed your application, you should have received a UCI and an application number. You're going to fill those in there. And then, you're the applicant and you're going to fill your information in here. And then once you get to here, agree and consent, after you click next, you'll then have the opportunity to upload your document. So that's how you do it. That's typically how you do it. Okay, let's keep zipping through here. Okay, Uzair says, hope you're doing well. Can you tell us about UCI household and how it can delay application processing? UCI household. I don't know what that means, Uzair. Unique client identification number is UCI. I don't know what you mean by that, Uzair. Okay, practice this for OMP. Do you need to submit your previous passports or only the current one? Usually it's just the current one. Okay, Subam says, can we claim an LMIA points as an LMIA exempt on H-1B open work permit? Okay, I think what you're asking for is claiming points for a job offer, right? Job offers are employer specific. So right off the bat, your work permit needs to be an employer specific work permit in order to claim the points. So the LMI exempt is usually, although it could on the surface include an open work permit, usually what they're referring to with the LMI exempt is like intercompany transfers, kind of like the equivalent of an L visa in the US, but it's an employer-specific work permit, and your H-1B open work permit is open, so it doesn't work, it doesn't count. As always, I'm just going to try to pull up the actual explanation. I'll share it with you really quick. Okay, so if you go down here, you can see this is what it takes to get the offer of arranged employment points, those extra points you're referring to. And so yes, all of this, blah, 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 blah. If we look here for skilled workers in CEC, which is you, yes, it needs to be all of these things here, but it also must be, and this is the difference, okay? Employer with a new LMIA, this one, if you're currently working, LMIA, and then this one, if you have a valid work permit that is exempt from being an LMIA, you can see are currently working for an employer specified on the work permit. That's the thing that that makes all the difference there, and that's why your open work permit wouldn't work for those extra points, even if you got a job offer from a company in Canada. All right. Okay, what's next here? Okay, Kuma Ravel says, I got an invite from Ontario, but I'm not processing with this now. So if I withdraw my profile from Ontario, will my profile be again considered in the next draw? Possibly. Sometimes once they've extended an offer to, to your specific profile that's in right now, sometimes that will preclude you from being considered in the future. I'm not sure what the details are, Kumaravel, but I recommend that you book a consult and kind of sort this out. I never, ever want to decline any opportunity unless I have absolutely no other choice, because they're so few and far between. So I never want to give up something that I have right now unless I have a very good reason for doing it. So you might want to book a consult. Let's see if we have another super. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see if I'm missing it. All right, this is from Biplab. He says, hey, Mark, now that I have my H-1B open, how do I proceed with my dependents? Should I book a consult with you? In the rush, I had not included them on the original application. Yeah, this is one of the biggest things. And yeah, I recommend. Biplab says, I am from Minnesota. Same story, got the open permit approved today. Okay, yes. Yeah, absolutely book a consult. And let's sort through this, because I can walk you through, at least at this stage, what IRCC we'll go into your portal, we'll take a look, we'll see everything that's available, and just take a look and determine the best ways of moving forward. So yeah, book a consult BitLab. The government has not yet released, as far as I'm aware, of how individuals are to add their dependents. They indicated that it was possible, so we're still waiting for specific instructions, but we can map that out. All right, we'll go 15 more minutes here, guys, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see here. Basilius says, I applied July 25th for a student visa. It's been a month now. I didn't receive no medical nor biometrics. How long should I wait more for my result? Thank you. It's really hard. Obviously, international students are under fire right now in Canada, at least the numbers at which the Liberal government has been allowing them into the country. And it's created quite a problem for many of the politicians, and for, it's hard. So I'm not sure if that's playing a role in their decisions to kind of slow down the issuance of study permits a little bit, but it wouldn't surprise me. You can go online and go to that site that I showed you before, the IRCC processing times, and take a look at what the processing times are listed at. They're usually pretty close. And then failing that, you can always submit a web form inquiring into the status of your application, especially if you're planning on studying. And I'm not sure if you've got a January intake. The reality is, if you applied in July for intake in September, it would have been very unlikely for you to get that study permit. Okay. Hello, Ambi. I think I said hello for you already. Let's see here. We've got Henry over in Nigeria. I just had a consult with someone who's originally from Nigeria. He's in Canada right now, just before we went live today. Okay. Wagner says, Mark, you should go to Sao Paulo. Greatest concentration of people in place with the most flights in Brazil would make easier for people to arrive and attend to the event. Wagner, I will absolutely take that into consideration. That's actually a really good suggestion. I absolutely will. And then I'll rely on you, Wagner, to tell everybody what's happening. Okay, Marco says, hey, Mark, could you do some general recommendations to improve self-employment for express entry? Okay, I also had a discussion with a previous consult. I had 3 this morning before I jumped on the live. And when it comes to self-employment, let's go right to the government website and let's take a look at what they, let's see what the limited information they provide. So let's see what's going on here. See if we can get to the right page right here. Okay, so I'm going to shift over and share with you. This is my favorite site. So this one here, when it comes to express entry, has as much detail as you can find on what IRCC is looking for in the documents that you're providing within express entry. So in here, we're going to go, I'm just going to go down to work. So proof of work experience, you will see, we don't need that there. You will see that they describe the documents, what they want from reference letters, and then they have, this is really all the instructions that you're given when it comes to self-employed. Since if the applicant is self-employed, then what they want to see is articles of incorporation or other evidence of business ownership. Okay, one, that you actually have a business that's running. Okay, then that you're actually receiving income, so you're being paid. So usually we'll include bank statements and things like that, showing the income coming in, or if you've got invoices that you've sent clients and the receipts that they've paid, those kinds of things. And you can see here documentation from third-party individuals indicating the service provided. So this is kind of what contemplates or demonstrates the activities that you do, the duties that you perform to confirm that you've met the requirements of the NOC, right? The job duties, because you don't have a reference letter, because you can see here self-declared main duties or affidavits are not acceptable. So what do you have to rely upon? Well, the reality is you have to rely upon any other third parties like customers or clients that can provide you with a letter saying, yeah, this is what this person did for me. And you can see it's very limited. But with that being said, the key focus is that you can establish every piece of these as much as possible. Title, duties and responsibilities, job status, the dates worked. And these are often the challenges, the number of work hours per week, proving that you've actually done that. So those and the duties and responsibilities are often some of the hardest to prove when you are self-employed. But that's a good kind of tip. Now, I also want to share one other thing with you here. If you're obviously, Marco, you're on our YouTube channel, you're watching this on YouTube, I'm just going to show you one little feature. that will be of really, it'll be a lot of help to you. I'm going to slide over here, and I am going to share this screen. Okay, when you're on the YouTube channel, whether you're watching on your handheld or whether you're watching on your computer, you can see here that there should be right here a search button. So if I go here and I go to search, let's see. Oh man, this is not working with me here. Come on, cooperate with me. There we go. Okay, and I type in self-employed. You will, oops, I didn't even type that right. Okay, you will see that I actually have previous videos that I've done right in the beginning when Express Entry was created that are all about proving self-employed. And so I recommend that you go back and yeah, and go take a look at some of these previous videos that I did on the YouTube channel years ago, which nothing has changed. They're all still completely valid. So there you go. Okay, zipping along here. Okay, so EA says, hey Mark, due to some restrictions in the country I live, I'm unable to pay my fees with my card and some on my EPR application. Can I ask someone living in Canada or in Europe to pay my fees? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no restriction on someone else paying your fees for you. So you can definitely do that, EA. Okay, Jay says, hi, I'm Mark. I am in the process of completing my EAPR. My post-grad work permit expires the first week of January. Should I apply for bridging work permit after I submit the EAPR? Yeah, I would. That's exactly what I would do. And same thing, Subham. This is something that we're working on. I'm going to do a special video on this topic, how to apply for a spouse after your open work permit's approved. That's a great question. We're sorting that out right now. Okay, Anna says, healthcare worker, and my CRS is 417. Do you think I have any chance to be selected? Well, if we go back to the rounds of invitations and we take a look at what's happened in the past, let's slide over here. The only thing we can do these days is to try to look at the past to try to get an idea of what the future will look like. So if you look at healthcare right now, you can see that they did a fairly large one at 1,500, and then before that they did a smaller one at 500. It was 476. And that caused it to drop down to 463. Now, as far as healthcare, there haven't been any others since that time. Now, in your situation here, you've indicated, would it work at 417? Well, I have to think, and this is something you guys also have to realize, that there are all kinds of occupations that are within each of these targeted draws. And let's see if I can pull up. See if I can find it. I've got so many pages here. So this is Alicia's blog. If you guys haven't gone to our site, please do go to Holthe Immigration Law. Here, let me just adjust this. I'm gonna adjust this. I think I can do this. Yeah, there. Oh, it's a little bit better. Not much, really. Thought maybe I could expand it. What if I expand the bottom? Will that open up this a little bit more? Not really. Looks like I've maxed it out. Okay, anyways, you can go to Holthe Immigration Law, and then up at the top here, that little thing is such a pain. Let's see if I can adjust it. Oh, there we go, that's better. Okay, go to Holthe Immigration Law, and then when you go into blogs and resources, you can even search it. But check out this one, Alicia's blog post back in May. She did this. If you can see here with the various categories, if your occupation falls within one of these NOC codes, then you have the possibility of, got too many things open here. Let's see if I can find it now. Here, you have the possibility of getting drawn under one of these programs, one of these specific categories. And like I said, at this stage, because the healthcare occupations, if we go back to the blog post with Alicia, you can see that on the list, you've got some very, very like dentists, chiropractors, audiologists, there's doctors, there's specialists. There's a whole bunch of very high professionals who traditionally have very high human capital. So this is one of the challenges. If you're a tier 3, or even right here, like a pharmacy technical assistant, pharmacy assistant, well, your human capital is going to be way lower than that of an actual, an actual physiotherapist or something like that. And so that's what causes on the healthcare side, that's what causes the rounds of invitation levels to still remain quite high. So in short, after taking all that time, Anna, I think it's going to be really tough for you to get through with 417 points. Daniela said you need to provide new biometrics for Express Entry. If you already provided biometrics for a study permit application 2 years ago, it's unlikely. The biometrics are usually linked with your passport. Obviously, IRCC can always come back and ask for them, but when you're submitting your application, you can indicate that you've already completed your biometrics. So you should be, obviously IRCC can do whatever they want, but you should be in pretty good shape. Okay, IFTEC says, do you need to submit medicals when submitting the OMP application? Nope, you do not. That's an IRCC thing. And here's a good question. Ahmed says, from Iran, do you know why they haven't drawn recently, especially for category-based draws? And my second question, would you also talk about French mobility program in a separate video? Yeah, I can talk about that, Ahmed. The French Mobilité, the program Mobilité, that's actually a really good program, which is pretty straightforward. If French language is your language of habitual use, individuals can apply for work permits from employers in Canada. The employer has to register the job offer, and they have to, make sure that they meet all the requirements for the program. But generally speaking, French language ability and admissibility to Canada, and demonstrating that, and then having a job offer in Canada, it's pretty open. It's actually quite a great program. In terms of the recent draws and why they haven't, well, I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe this fine fellow right here is trying to sort out what he's supposed to do and where he's going with the program, and so they put a halt on it until they can figure out what they need to do next. Maybe he's going to surprise everybody and do a CEC draw. Maybe. Okay, Almira says, my question is the expiration date for the IELTS exam and Express Entry profiles based on the exam date or the exam result date? Thanks. That's a great question. I always, personally, here's how I deal with this. I always go with the date that's actually listed on, like, the result, when the result was issued. That's the date that on the IELTS, that's the date that I go with, is the date that the result was issued. Yeah, so if I go back in here, I'm trying to think if I even have policy on this, Elmira. No, I go with the date that the exam, like the result was issued to you. That's what I use, Elmira. But if you're in a situation where you're actually running out of time, that's a whole different discussion. And I never take chances. I never rely on the distinction between the date the test was taken versus the date the results were released. I never ever rely on that, and I strongly encourage you not to rely on that either. If in doubt, rewrite the test. Always, because you can get an officer who makes a different determination. I've seen both things happen. So, okay. All right, Henry says, my Express Entry doesn't have my spouse listed and I am sitting single. If I receive an NOI, can I add my spouse in the application and then update my EE profile after my NOI has been approved? Book a consult, Henry. You never want to be in a situation where you're misrepresenting anything. And lots of people use this they want to get their CRS high enough, and then after the Ontario issues the notification of interest, then they add their spouse on, and whereas they wouldn't maybe have been in that right category, that slot for the comprehensive ranking system scores, that would have, if they added their spouse, they wouldn't have received the NOI. So you have to be really, really careful with that, Henry. Really careful, because you don't want to be seen as misrep. Now, that being said, I can tell you that Ontario routinely doesn't worry too much about, adding a spouse on after or not. The nomination is really geared towards you when it goes through Express Entry, but you just want to make sure you're not misrepresenting anything, Henry. Hey, Andy, great to connect. Okay, let's see what Andy says. Andy's an immigration consultant. Hope you've had a great summer and wanted to reiterate how appreciative I am, and of course many others are, of your willingness to help people immigrate. Hey, you're an awesome guy, Andy. Thank you so much. One day we'll connect, my friend. Okay, Davina says, how are you? I'm doing great. Okay, Panesh says, please speculate with me a little. If your only hope is the general Express Entry draw, what's a rough estimate of a minimum CRS score to have in these uncertain times? Well, Panesh, I look at the most recent round of invitation, right? So if you go back and look at the rounds of invitations, I say, okay, well, what was the most recent one? Well, it was, you can see 496 when they did a large draw of 4,300. If it's a smaller draw, you can see that the scores are then up above 500. So that's what I go by. Now, ultimately, if you're CEC versus FSW, that also can play a role, and maybe they choose to do a CEC draw. Okay, Jay asks a question that I've seen so many times, and the short answer, Jay, can I claim my UK foreign part-time work experience working for 20 hours as an accountant assistant from December 2014 to December 2017? I was on the UK student visa, legally allowed 20 hours to work. I see no reason in the world why you can't claim that. Now, obviously, you can only go back 10 years, right? And you can work and study at the same time and claim that overseas work experience. It's just in Canada that you can't claim Canadian work experience when you have when you're studying full time. Okay, let's zip through here. I don't think Janola's. Oh, here we go. Okay, here's Janola's. Okay, I changed my employment dates after ITA. Is it okay? Janolis, it really comes down to whether or not those dates are going to affect your eligibility to get the points that you claimed. So, for example, if you had only 1 year of work experience and, well, let's say you had less than 1 year of work experience, and in your application you indicated that you had one by mistake when really you didn't, and then you changed it to be less than 1 year, well, then that can cause your application to be rejected, right? But if it doesn't affect the actual, we call it the Section 11.2 assessment. In other words, it doesn't negatively affect your eligibility under the program that you're drawn under, CEC or FSW, and it doesn't negatively impact on your comprehensive ranking system score, the actual number of years of work experience you're claiming. Then no, it's usually not too big of an issue, but always include a letter of explanation. And that's something that I teach people in my course. And I think many of you are well aware of my express entry course and the fact that it's up and available for you to, to go through, and there's covers every aspect of this, including how to actually complete the information in both the profile, the EAPR, all the way through to uploading your documents. And of course, within our firm, I think many of you are probably aware as well, now that we have a very unique way of representing people and working with people. And you can just go to About Us, check out our approach, and you'll see here that we work directly with our clients. There's no middle people. It's just you and us. We teach you how to do your application, and then we go through and help you to, to review and finalize and upload your application. Yeah, we absolutely love working that way. There's no middle people, no paralegals, no assistants. You work directly with Mark or Alicia or Igor. Okay, we'll go just a little bit more. I'm actually past where I was going to go, but okay. Okay, this one is very easy. Alessandra, she says, I was accused of misrep. You need to book a consult immediately, Alessandra, because you've got a short period of time. And if they're accusing you and you have a procedural fairness letter you've received, book a consult and we can sort this out. Okay. Same thing with UT. If it says RCC system says I'm eligible for FSW and I'm now in the pool, however, I didn't get any points for my work experience in Canada or in my home country, well, you probably entered it in somewhere differently. Recommend you book a consult and we can go in and we can take exactly a look at it. Okay, Jeff says if a person has an expired express entry profile with a different knock from the current express entry profile, it's misrep. You need to be able to explain why you had a different knock in the profile. And with the world of targeted draws, right, you guys, we're going to see more and more of this. People who've submitted a profile using one knock and then said, hey, wait a minute, I can qualify under, as a licensed practical nurse, and so I'm going to change my knock code to that so that I can maybe get drawn under one of the category-based draws. You have to be very, very careful with that. So you definitely need to be able to explain it. That's for sure. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up there, you guys. I don't think there's any more supers here. Let's see. Am I missing? Oh, I do. I have VK here. Let's hit VK here. Okay. VK says OINP job offer, is it easy to receive an invitation for a not code 0 invalid job offer in Ontario, and how does this process work? Thank you. Okay, VK, is it easy? No, nothing is easy in Ontario. It really isn't. Employers need to meet certain specifications, and there are only so many spots to go around, right? And the reality is, if 49% of all students are going to Ontario and they're all vying for the same spots, generally job offers tend to be the most competitive. In other words, if you have an actual job offer that meets the requirements of the OINP, you have a huge leg up over someone who's just working based on an open work permit and trying to find a pathway forward. If you have a good employer that's supporting you, you're in a higher skill, the requirements are met, then you can have an easier time than other people, but it's still super, super competitive. And there's only so many spots to go around. So I recommend, once again, you guys that are asking very specific questions, book a consult and we can chat about it. All right, I think, Shakar, good to see you. Jonita says, can we expect to see draw soon? Who knows? Who knows? Minister, what's your call, my friend? What's your call? Let's see, I'm trying to find the right angle. Let's see. Here, going over here, Reckon. Minister, what? What are you going to do, Minister? That's the question. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up. Rohit, good to see you connecting in. MAL siblings, are you Canadian? Yes, I'm Canadian. Yes, born and raised. I'm a farm boy from southern Alberta. Okay. Uzair says multiple UCIs. Oh, that was your question. Okay. You shouldn't have multiple UCIs. It usually means that people have created separate GC keys, and immigration really wants everything to be consolidated. So you want to make sure that you're not misrepresenting anything, or, but yeah, let's just see here if I can find your other part of your question. Okay. So you can tell us about UCI household, multiple UCIs. Okay. And how it can delay application processing. Well, only if there's something, that they have to sort out, or that's causing them to now have to go down the whole different path to do background and security screening because there's multiple UCIs. That's really the only time in which it's going to cause a huge difference. I always try to disclose it, though, if I have multiple UCIs, just to make it easier for the officers. Okay, Biplap, I look forward to connecting with you. And I know that lots of you have had questions that weren't answered. We just don't have enough time to get through everybody in a single hour. But thanks so much for connecting in. Hopefully this worked. It was a little bit rough and tumble because I'm, away from my office up here in Edmonton, taking my daughter to getting her set up for school here in a few days. And but stay tuned. Australia, Chile, Brazil, and Suriname. That's what we're looking at here in the next few months to do a little tour, so in-person events. So if you're in any of those countries, give me a shout out, and I'd love to connect with you guys, and there'll be more information coming shortly. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and remember tomorrow, Igor's going to be going live, and so you can go there and ask him questions, and he's going to be talking about Ukraine. He's going to start off by talking about all the various initiatives for Ukraine and Ukraine nationals, those working in Canada, but he's also able to answer more questions tomorrow at noon. So we'll see all of you guys tomorrow. Well, actually, I won't. I'm going to be driving back home to Lethbridge after dropping my daughter off, but I wish you guys all the best. Thanks for being here. Okay, take care. And remember, you can always book a consult if you need help. Take care.